right, guys. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I think it should be on. Cancel. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Running a little later than usual. It's 9:04 Eastern Standard Time, but we're back at it. Let's go over the market today and get started for the day. First thing I thought about this morning is that you ever get that feeling that you're like, man, I forgot. You had one thing on your action item list and you totally forgot about it. And then in the afternoon, you're kind of reminded by it and you're like, damn, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that's what happened to me regarding a stock. I was watching that yesterday. If you guys, I know it's starting a little different than I usually start, but I'm going to go and show it to you anyways. So if you guys remember last week, I talked about Target. I talked about that gap fill, right? On the 2-year daily. Here you can see the yellow line. It actually filled. I was supposed to buy it yesterday. That's where I was. I'm like, Tuesday, first thing in the morning, I'm going to buy Target. And I didn't write it down. I totally forgot. And the CEO had he had some comments yesterday about how back to school is going to be strong. They're going to be working with inventory closely, all that good stuff. The stock popped just like the market. Well, in terms of the stock, it was up yesterday about 3.4%. Now again, I may have missed out on that move. Not like it matters. I want to own the stock, but still, I totally forgot about it. And I wanted to be like, man, I can't believe I forgot it. I missed a couple of points. Maybe I'll get another opportunity today. It's trading at 143.50, down from 144.70 yesterday. I'm definitely going to buy some shares just to start off with. I know I'm not going in on tons of stock right now, but Target at this price with that gap fill, I want it for sure. Okay, that's the first thing I wanted to say before I forget, and I'm going to write it down on my whiteboard because that's what I want to do today, this morning, especially first thing in the morning. Okay, good morning. Let's go ahead and take a look at futures down 437 on the Dow, Nasdaq down 182, S&P futures down 1.5%, Russell down 1.54%. Here's the big one: crude oil down 6.67%. Again, recession fears, global demand slowing. Crude oil. Remember, we talked about this. Again, you're going to retrace back. You're going to get back to around, let me go ahead and get this here, around 100, possibly sub 95 a barrel. If we can get to around 85, that'd be great. And I think this is an opportunity for those who are looking for maybe a reload into the energy sector, get some of those dividends. Again, they've been outperforming like crazy. But oil is a key factor here. If we can get below 90 and stay below 90, especially during July, that could be a bottoming process for inflation. Now, again, I know that's a lot to unpackage, but again, if we get to around 90, again, that's that full retrace from February 28th, yes. If we get down to 90.06 and we stay around those areas, XLE, all those oil companies are going to be affected. If you guys remember, I talked about that last week. I said, a couple weeks actually, if you got energy stocks, prepare for a pullback. Again, you get to reload on some more shares, or you could take profit. I've been wanting to get into energy short, at least some XLE or XOM or Chevron. I wanted to short them with puts, but yesterday we soared. So again, I'll see if we get an opportunity today to possibly get that, depending on the volume out there. Granted, it is a short week. Powell is going to speak here in about 23 minutes in front of the Senate Banking Committee, if memory serves me right. Gasoline futures down 3.44%, 356. Remember, we were hovering around $4.07 for a while. Gold is up 0.33%, 1845 an ounce. Silver down 1.32%. Taking a look at the euro dollar, 105.45, up about 13 pips. Dollar yen pulling back after soaring yesterday, 135.80. Bitcoin trading now at 20,302. That's down 2.66%. Of course, if the Nasdaq's down, Bitcoin more likely will be down. Ethereum down 3.70% at 1081 per coin. How about this? 10-year Treasury yields getting a little bit of a pullback here, which is nice. Now, again, that does hurt stock. It doesn't hurt stocks one-to-one, but again, for the fact that we're getting at least a little bit of a pullback in yields is a good thing. A couple of levels that I'm looking for in terms of yields where we can start getting at least excited. Really sub 3. If we can get to around 2,956, that's a 50-day moving average on the daily. All we did was really fill a couple of gaps. There's another gap to fill down here, 2,749. If you're someone that's in real estate, if you're someone that's looking to buy a home or refinance, keep an eye on TNX if you break sub 3. If you start breaking sub 3, that again at that time in the environment would probably be the consensus that a recession is near. Well, that gives an opportunity for somebody who's looking to buy or maybe possibly refinance their loan. I don't think refinancing a loan would make a difference, but again, possibly buying. I kind of timed it back in August when I refinanced my house. I had to buy my house. I bought my house in April, but it was based just on my income because my taxes weren't officially done. Granted, the actual tax date was what April 15th, and I closed in the house like around April 2nd, so it wasn't completely done. Once I did that, I got to refinance at a lower rate. So again, I try to time it with TNX. So it does work if you know what you're kind of talking about. But stay in touch with your mortgage broker if that's the case. Again, if you start getting to sub 3, if you are looking for property, if you're looking to buy an investment property, if you're looking to buy a residential home, and you want to get the best interest rate, at least in the short term, again, put an alert at below 30 on TNX. You could possibly get that gap fill at 2.75. That'll probably get you to around maybe 3.5% on a 30-year, maybe 4%. Not terrible in comparison to where we are at now. So again, that's a good idea to keep in your back pocket if you are looking for real estate. But again, nice to see that we're down today, 3.162 on a 10-year. Let's go and bring up the dollar. And again, Carlos, if the dollar's down, I thought stocks would go up. Well, in this case, we're getting a lot of recession fears. We're getting crude oil. And I do this because it's just a fear. It's not, we're in a recession yet. Again, I'm just putting recession fears. Crude oil is down 6.84%. Again, that's going to bring down value names. That's going to bring down energy companies. So now we have to look at it as, oh, we want lower oil prices. That's great. Well, that's going to hurt asset prices. Can't have it both ways, right? Take a look at the dollar again. The key level is 103.95 or sub 104. Let's go and bring up the VIX this morning. VIX does have a gap to fill to the downside, so I do expect a bounce in equities. 30.21 is your gap to fill to the downside. And then after that, that's pretty much it. We already filled this upward gap this morning. Now we're going to fill this one here at 30.23. I expect this to bounce. In terms of S&P, if you guys remember, I do expect us to bounce. I do have some futures and I do have SPY. I just saw the question from William. That's in the SPY calls that we have. And I do have SPY calls. I filled them yesterday. Now, again, we have Powell at 9:30, so I don't want to run and close them either. It's going to bring up SPY. Really, your support is around 367.63. So that's around, I want to say on ES, that is right around 3,700. So yeah, so 367.63 would probably be around 3670 or 3680. But 3700 seems about right. The problem is that we have a gap to fill right down here at 366.74. I was kind of hoping that it would fill overnight. It did not happen. So again, we do have a gap to fill here on SPY short term. That could fill and then we bounce. But again, we have Powell today. Other than that, there was not much in terms of economic data to kind of hold us back. The only thing that stands out here is really oil. So oil coming down right now is hurting asset prices. But good news, long-term low energy prices are going to help in terms of the consumer and get everything back on track and would probably help more of the soft landing scenario for the Fed. I'm still holding it, William. Again, I want to see how we open and we'll go from there. But again, more likely we're just going to fill a gap to 366.68. That's $3. I don't know if that will happen. If we can get back above 375, let's see what Powell has to say. Maybe he says he's more flexible with rate hikes. Who knows what he's going to say that can make markets move. But again, we know the analysis. We know that we have gaps to fill to the upside. Again, this happens a lot. But again, you also have the gap filled to the downside as well on SPX. And then you have the gap to fill at 3790 and a gap to fill at 3900 and a gap to fill at 4000. So in my personal belief here, especially with what we've saw in terms of this downward channel, let me go and bring it up for you. I'm going to bring it up on the Bloomberg here because it saves, which is good. Okay, let's go ahead and bring up the downward channel chart and let me get that over to you guys. So this is SPX. This is the index. And again, I talked about this on TikTok, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. And again, really your support is right around 3666. That's pretty much where we are. If we open now, I think we'll probably be at 3,700. So pretty much right around here, small little gap here, right? And then we also have the gap here and the gap here again. We're going to respect this trend line. The problem is with the SPY that I have, it does expire Friday. So again, maybe just timing was off. I expected futures to continue to run higher. China was weaker. Oil came down. That happens. But again, we'll see what happens in terms of what other opportunities are out there. Again, I'm not ready to consider SPY and L whatsoever, but I am looking at this market pullback as opportunity out there to maybe take a look at a couple other trades. The only thing is that Powell does speak today, right around 9:30. So we may have to wait for him to stop talking and then start working. Thoughts on Meta? Meta came down. Funny enough, he will. Mark Zuckerberg will be on Mad Money. I think it's on tomorrow, and I like watching Jim Cramer, so I may have to watch that interview. I am a Meta shareholder. Was down pre-market. Was down after out yesterday, even though the market was completely green. So again, some headlines in regards to the Justice Department and some issues that they had there. I didn't read the whole headline, but they were down big yesterday. We just filled this gap, and you can see it here for pre-market. What's next for Meta? Well, that depends. We can get a nice little rally in terms of maybe some short covering if that's the case. But it seems that 159.26 seems to be short-term resistance. If we can make it back to 165 with a nice boost today, that'd be nice as well. But we do have a gap to fill 175.24. I very much expect to hit that as well. And there's one at 170. So I do like Meta if it can go ahead and break above 165. Tesla back to 650. Tesla had a nice day yesterday. Take a look at it. Gap is to the upside at 712. I think that fills today. But again, back to 650. You see another gap there as well. Hey, if we get another leg lower, absolutely, Tesla will get to 650. Heck, Tesla can get to 500 if things really go wrong. Again, we had some layoffs. If the Twitter thing goes through, again, there's so many moving parts with Tesla. I don't even call it Tesla anymore. I call it Elon Inc. because it's really based on Elon. So again, any kind of controversy with Elon is probably worth a couple of dollars on Tesla. And again, we know that it's not low beta. It's very high beta and compared to the other mega cap stocks. Yesterday was up 10% at one point, while the stock market was only up 3 or 2. So again, you're almost seeing a five beta on that on Tesla, which is crazy for a mega cap company. It's tonight on Mad Money. There you go. Yeah, he's gonna talk. Mr. Robot Zuckerberg. That's the first thing I think of when he's testifying in Congress. I'm like, man, that guy is a cyborg. Brilliant guy. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, just very robotic in his ways. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at some pre-market movers. I know I haven't done that in a while. And we're going to go to investing.com. We'll see what's up. Let's see what's moving, what's shaking. So we'll move this mouse here. All right, let's see. Revlon. Again, Revlon filed for bankruptcy. That's been moving a lot. That's up 32%. At one point, it was up 97%, I think, on Friday. And then it was down like 40% when it announced bankruptcy. On the Dow, Apple down 1.18%, Microsoft down 1.5%, Chevron down 4%. Let's keep that in the back of our heads. Boeing down 1.5%, Nike down 2.82%, more China. Walt Disney down 1.36%. Meta Platforms up 0.5%. Well, I hope so after being red in a super green day yesterday, right? You would think if it was down today, that'd be pretty sad. Marathon Oil taking a hit. Halliburton taking a hit. I mean, we see it. Oil is down nearly, well, how much was it down? 7%? Oil is down 6.8%. So let's go ahead and bring up, I just had it. Here you go, pre-market movers. These ads later, okay. And that's the NASDAQ 100, AMD down 0.84%. Meta's the only one that stands out. And in terms of NASDAQ, I don't know any of these names. These are just penny stocks. So I'm just going to skip it. But CVX, now the problem is I did want to short CVX. The problem is that I pretty much missed the move so far. So let's go and take a look. Man, that would have been a nice short. Oh, well. Back to the drawing board. We do have a gap to fill on the daily on CVX at 144.05. That would probably be your next stop. 148.40 is your current price. So again, we're going to keep an eye on this gap fill. Let's call it 144. And again, I like Chevron. Chevron, for me to buy Chevron, how's this? 136.27. That's your 200-day on the daily. And at the end of the day, it's still a value company. It's still going to go ahead and give you a dividend. Wouldn't be a bad idea to hold it into a portfolio that's based on dividends or just an income-based portfolio. But CVX is fine. Again, price is going down due to oil. And you could see coming down. We did fill that gap. We have a gap to the upside, 154.36. So I'm not going to go and rush in and short it here just for the fact that the moves have already been made. But again, in terms of um, pre-market movers and what I'm looking at, the moves have already been made. When you get that kind of volatility right in the morning, it's tough to play that, unfortunately, because you just pretty much missed it. What was the other question? GME squeeze coming. Ooh, don't know why. It has to be some news if that's the case. In terms of GME does not move with S&P futures or the S&P. So I can't really talk about GME because it's really based on headlines or just squeezing. Now, what is the level that you think that we could squeeze to? That's a whole different story. We do have a couple of gaps. They have one at 291 on the daily. That's a pretty good level to look at. Really, 186.84. If you can get above that, then you start getting into the next level of 250. I wouldn't want to do anything here as of yet. You need to start getting to 186. Pretty wide levels, but I don't know if we're going to get a squeeze at all, Austin, because I wouldn't. I haven't read anything to indicate that GME is a squeeze candidate. But that shit happens out of the blue. AMC, GME, Nokia, BlackBerry, Express, the clothing store. I remember that. I remember trading that back in, I believe, was it 2020 when we had that craziness, or 2021? Something like that. It was pretty wild. Either way, again, in terms of the S&P, what I'm really looking for, 3,700. I have some futures open, and let's see if we can go ahead and continue it. 3,700 breaks, then we're going to get to 36.64. And then if that's the case, I want to see if we hold that. I'm waiting for 3,500. Hopefully, if we get 3,500, then I'm going to put some money to work and buy some stocks. So again, it's really based on Powell today at 9:30. Let's see what he has to say. I will be watching and tweeting as we go. Have a great rest of your morning. I will catch you guys later for the aftermarket recap. Cheers, guys.